Hey, what's up? I think your Pittsburgh Steelers just quietly gained the upper hand. In this video, I'm going to talk about a couple different areas that the Pittsburgh Steelers just really quietly balled out as far as contract negotiations, this flurry of trades. And also in this video, I'm going to talk about how an ex-NFL cornerback, he really said out loud what a lot of us are thinking regarding this Jalen Ramsey trade. And also, who are the winners? It might be people that you're not thinking of. So let's kind of get right to it. And the first stat that I want to point out is the fact that this Pittsburgh defense, the time to ball out is right now. The Steelers are in a win now place, because you guys are sitting here with the number one highest paid defense in the entire NFL, the most expensive, $178 million. And with that, on Monday, the Steelers, they pulled off a huge trade, right? With the Miami Dolphins. They landed cornerback Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, and it basically just cost Minkah Fitzpatrick. There were some pick trade-ups there. So all three guys were traded in part because of their contracts. This is something a lot of people aren't talking about. According to Over the Cap, here's the current salary cap situation for the Steelers, and it's really encouraging for you guys. Pittsburgh now has $18.8, almost $19 million in salary cap space left for this year. Absolutely plenty of money now. The Steelers can sign another safety. They can go out for a wide receiver, but best yet, it really clears the way to get a new contract done with TJ Watt. I don't think there's any room to panic. I don't think there's any way that the Steelers don't make this work. It's just a matter of negotiating the proper money amount. But even with these trades, instead of saying, hey, the Steelers are paying everybody besides TJ Watt, you guys are in a situation that by making these moves, you've cleared a way to make this TJ Watt contract absolutely possible. So the Steelers, they've taken on several huge contracts this offseason, but as they all know, you guys just extended your GM Omar Khan. If anyone can manipulate the cap properly to get this Watt signing here and also to protect the cap in the future, you guys are awesome at not having dead cap space allotted, this waste of money that a lot of teams put forward every single year. The Steelers, once again, are in the NFL lead with the lowest dead cap amount in the entire NFL. I think it's under $1 million. Absolutely amazing. So now Pittsburgh is looking at, they have spent $178 million on defense, $196 million on offense, and along with a really tiny $12.5 million on special teams. So with this trade, let's kind of break this down a little bit. A lot of people are arguing that the Dolphins actually won this trade. They got maybe the best player in the trade in Minkah Fitzpatrick, but people that are saying that obviously weren't watching your Pittsburgh Steelers play over the last 2 years. You're looking at Minkah having a really injury-riddled 2023, and then he followed up by a really last year wasn't that productive. You're looking at a contract extension looming in the future. I think it made the decision fairly easy to make this trade, especially when the return was a pair of Pro Bowlers in Smith and also Jalen Ramsey. So now you're looking at the departure of Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's kind of ruffled some feathers in Pittsburgh, but I want to get to what ex-NFL cornerback Asante Samuel Sr., he believes it was absolutely worth it if one of the players that you're acquiring is Jalen Ramsey. And this is a guy who's pretty outspoken, but typically if he speaks, he's someone that I want to listen to because I really expect his opinion. And he gave his opinion and then some on the Say What Needs to Be Said podcast. He actually revealed he has high hopes for the Ramsey-led Steelers defense this season. He thinks the Steelers essentially might have the best defense in the entire NFL. And he also had a lot to say criticizing Miami, like kind of what are you thinking? So let's get directly to what this quote was. If the Steelers defense was ranked 12th in total defense with almost zero production from Minkah Fitzpatrick last season, I know, and I guarantee Jalen Ramsey will make this defense a better defense, no doubt. And then he also said about the Dolphins what they're thinking. And the Dolphins had no reason to trade Jalen Ramsey. Other than that, they were sensitive, kind of the war of words that they had back and forth. There's absolutely no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniels is a pushover. Chris Greer, the general manager, has no backbone. Well, okay. Say what you want to say, Asante, right? Don't hold back. These guys over there, the Miami Dolphins, they're running this team like a little league team. So to me, it doesn't make sense because the Dolphins traded for another safety. When Jalen Ramsey, he could have easily been moved to safety and be way more productive than the person that you just traded for. So aside from the harsh criticism, the complete dismantling of the Dolphins organization, I think really Samuel hit the nail right on the head. The Steelers defense, I think they've gotten very few splash plays in return for Minkah Fitzpatrick, all that was paid to acquire him over the last 2 seasons. This trade was really a no-brainer. I think Ramsey is a proven ball hawk. He's a solid tackler. He offers versatility across the secondary. And then you also have an opportunity. You've got some guys that are a little old in the tooth in this secondary. It kind of gives the ability. You have 3 absolutely solid guys with Porter and plus our elder statesman being able to play on the outside. And this could enable the Steelers to have kind of their cake and eat it too. Allow some of these older guys to bounce into the inside, maybe prolong some careers, maybe play some nickel. I just think it's like the best of both worlds. And I think Juan Thornhill, I think he's possibly one of the most underrated acquisitions for your Pittsburgh Steelers this whole offseason because he's a guy that absolutely balled out for the Chiefs, won multiple Super Bowls with them, kind of fell off with injuries with rival Cleveland Browns last year. I think he's such a good get, and I think him joining the team is what really allowed the Steelers to be okay with making this trade, sending Minkah Fitzpatrick over to the Dolphins. So let's kind of look at some winners of this trade, and I don't think it really might be the people that you're thinking about, because with all these trades, with all these moves on the offseason, I think Aaron Rodgers is a huge winner here. You're looking at a month ago, the Steelers weren't even sure Rodgers was coming to Pittsburgh, right? But this is such a good setup and what might be his swan song season right here. Absolutely no question now that the Steelers are just going to go for it this year. They see a window, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what the fruit of this is. But it's kind of exciting when you guys are a fan of a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, kind of a benchmark franchise in this whole NFL. And they're just going all in, man. They are going for the win. So you're looking at a ton of transactions. It's got to be at least exciting for supporters of a Steelers team that was seemingly stuck in neutral the past several seasons. Rodgers has to be impressed too. Already on the board before this trade. Now he's going to have a true wide receiver 1 in DK, 2 tight ends. And these 2 tight ends combined for 150 catches last season. Smith and your own Pat Freiermuth. A ton of help in the backfield, excuse me. And then you've got a young, talented starting 5 on the offensive line. I think you are in great shape. No one knows if all of this is going to work, but my goodness. You look at this team now, I think your underrated acquisition is one that was made last year in the draft. Roman Wilson working out in the slot, I think, is one of the keys to this offense, and I really think it's going to happen. Adding this other threat with Jonnu Smith really makes it a heck of a lot more likely that this offense is going to be fire. And then I think another winner of this is Arthur Smith, your offensive coordinator, because a lot of OCs got to be jealous about Smith's. Like, he has an ability typically with a team to get what he wants in personnel. GM Omar Khan, head coach Mike Tomlin, they ultimately make the decisions on this team, but you got to see who they brought in. It's quite clear that they're listening to Arthur Smith, and they're into giving him what he wants. Sure, they actually looked at former players of his, former players that he really likes. We're looking at them sniffing around Kyle Pitts, right? And then after they weren't able to do that, they eventually landed Jonnu Smith. So We've heard for months that he's one of Arthur Smith's favorites. He was with him in Atlanta. He was with him with the Tennessee Titans. And this is Arthur and Jonnu's second reunion tour. That's following the previous stints together, once again with the Titans and the Falcons. And Khan really put it a different way. With the loss of George Pickens, he said really charitably that he needs a fresh start. He gets a little more pointed than that, but whatever, man. So the Steelers essentially swapped him for Metcalf as their new go-to receiver. We can just look at it this way. Then we're looking at drafting Caleb Johnson. That could be an absolutely perfect fit, a huge upgrade over Najee Harris. Najee Harris had a lot of good years, a lot of 1,000-yard seasons, but I think it was time for a change of scenery for him as well. I think he was pretty gassed. Caleb Johnson looks like exactly the fit for this offense. And then you're looking at the last two off seasons, the offensive line's really been stabilized, right? So now we've got Arthur Smith. Let's call him Mr. Tight End. He now has a toy box absolutely full of options. We're not even talking about Washington at tight end, and he's going to play at this position in a way that I think we're really going to have fun watching. And let's hope that it's not this dink and dunk, this creative, non-creative offense later in the season. I think it got a little predictable, but with Aaron Rodgers behind center, word is that he's going to be submissive to Arthur Smith's offense, but also he's going to have some input. So I hope to see more of a vertical passing game compared to last year, and they're not going to be moon balls. They're actually going to be legitimately good NFL passes. And adding Jonnu Smith, a guy that can split the seam and also create mismatches down the field, also be a deep threat, and actually he's more of a yak threat. I really like the pieces that are on this offense now. I think this is going to be absolutely legit. And if the Steelers don't score more points this season, it won't be because of a lack of offensive talent around Aaron Rodgers. You guys let me know, what do you think about the essential exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith? I think it's a huge win. You guys let me know what you think, and I'll continue to be here with Pittsburgh Steelers News on the Daily. You guys have been awesome. We'll talk soon.